traders from across the globe. It is Sunday night, and get ready for an insanely busy week. And welcome to Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar Carboni. This video coming at you on a Sunday night for trading Sunday through Monday. That's Feb 27th, 2023. We've got some interesting topics on the board. Before we go there, let me remind you that trading of any nature is extremely risky, whether you are trading crypto or options or futures or stocks or anything in between. It is very risky. Put your protective stops in first before you trade, and never trade without them. Long week ahead. Let's see what's going on. All right, traders. So every year I've been known to put out year-end projections in the public eye. I've been doing them for a really long time, but let's say since YouTube started, we'll talk from that date forward. Since 2006, I've been putting out year-end projections in the beginning of the year, and we know, if you've been following me, OMNI has been phenomenal with these crazy year-end projections. Generally, I don't put them out right away. I have the projection done by about second week of January, and then if my projection is bullish, I wait for a pullback when it looks like the worst projection in the world, and I put it out every year, and it turns out to work out. So this year, I've been at a crossroads, not knowing when to put the projection out, because if it was an upwards projection, I wait for a down move and I put it out then. And if it were a lower projection, I'd wait for an up move and put it out then. Let me just explain what I'm talking about. This year's 2023 year-end projections on the board. Year-end projections since 2006. From 2006, every year until 2021, I've gotten only one projection, only one price at the end of the year. Then in 2022, I actually got two projections for the same year. They were both in the same direction. Not so different, right? Just happened to have two projections. For 2023, I also got two projections for this year. And here's why I didn't know exactly when to put it out for you. One of them is higher, 5550 to 5560 E-mini S&P this year. In fact, about 2 weeks ago, I put it on my board right here in one video silently. I didn't tell anybody. I just put it on the board. It's actually sitting here since. Right, so I put it on the board, and I didn't say anything because of my quagmire. I've got two projections. What do? So I quietly put the upward projection here. Now it resides here. Let me just explain. We've got two projections, and I have a trigger for when we're going to use the second one. The first projection, absolute 5550 to 5560, is my expected ES target. However, there's the second projection, a lower one. That is, it's kind of got two numbers. 3,000 to 2,900 is a drop down. Then if we get to that, we expect 2680 for our year-end target. Downside. So, this 2680 target can only come into play if the E-mini S&P gets below 3530, which would be underneath my big bottoming chart I've been showing you in a few videos. So I'm going to show you that bottoming chart again in this video, so you know where my level would be, where we cross over and say, okay, forget the upwards projection. We're going to have to now start going to the downward projections. So to make things clear, upward projection, my target for the year. If we break 3530 in the S&P, then we have to switch to the second target. Now, I've never had two targets in 1 year that were in different directions, so you guys got to work with me on this one, right? I'm just calling the charts as I see them, but that's it. For now, we're going for the upper. That is on record. If we break 3530 E-mini S&P, we start heading for lower targets, and this we will call our year-end projection. For now, this is our year-end projection. That's what I wanted to show you as far as long-term trading is concerned. I would have put the projection out a couple of weeks ago, but a little bit of a when. What's the good timing on this? So out it is. Now, if you think I didn't have two projections, I've got a fantastic friend, Ken, I won't say his last name, down in Florida, and I've told him on the phone I actually had two projections. So I've got some proof, whether you guys believe me or not. But anyway, it is what it is. Two projections this year. Again, I do not think, I don't try to disseminate all the information coming in. It's not based on my fundamental beliefs. It's not based on who the president is. I simply read the charts. This year, for whatever reason, I got two projections in opposite directions. I'm giving them both to you. We're using the upper one unless things go crazy. then we'll call for the lower one. I hope that helps long term. Short term, let's go to work. What's going to happen for Sunday through Monday? I got charts to show you. Russell, even the S&P, NASDAQ, gold, silver, ugly, ugly. Bonds too, ugly. So we'll be selling rallies to start off the day if we can get filled in any of the indices, maybe the metals, I don't know. Sometimes we don't go near them, sometimes we do. But that's what the short term is showing us. I've got some fantastic charts I want to show you. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share these videos. Make sure you subscribe to them right now. We can use the likes as well. We thank you all so much for doing that. And then one last thing before we get into the chart segment, which I think you will find very interesting and telling for tomorrow. If you're in a trade and you're thinking about what to do and you're in this trade and it's starting to go against you and you got to stop in and those stupid fingers of yours are getting ready to hit the buttons and change the stop, don't do that to yourselves because that's no longer a plan. Then you've become a panic trader. Instead of changing that stop because you're panicking, say this to yourselves instead. It'll help you out of that mess. Are you ready? Say it with me, traders. 1, 2, 3. Stops are in. Emotions are out. Rock and roll traders, now let's go. Look at some charts. Traders, this crazy confusing chart is just to show you something. The ES is sitting right here at about 4,000, right? My upward projection is the one that we're going for, which is in the 55.50 area, and it's so high on the price scale it won't even fit on the chart. However, if somehow we get all the way down to this spot, and that's 35.30, if somehow we get to 35.30, then we will change our projections and go after the lower one of 26.80, which doesn't even fit on the chart. So both projections are so far from this spot, they're both ridiculous, kids. But my year-end projections always look ridiculous in the beginning, and they've worked out for 15 years, so let's see what this one does. Now, I've never had two projections, one up and one down before, so I'm not quite sure, but I'm going with the upside one for now because that's what the bottom tells me to do. But because we talked about never getting below this bottom again, and the bottom should be in, if we get below that bottom, we go for that target. Unless that happens, this is our target for the year. Now let's go to short-term trading like for right now through Monday. Russell 2000. We had a must-hold area, which you've seen this chart every step of the way. This really, really killer channel, right? It was a fantastic channel. That was a must-hold area right here. When we broke it, it dropped one long bar all the way down to here, and now we have an Oscarism known as the F flag, which means we should put in another lower day or at least sell the rallies in the Russell for trading Sunday night through Monday. Then for more short-term trading, looking at the NASDAQ, some big test of the 200-bar moving average is taking place as I speak to you. And of course, we're testing the bottom of this channel, which is basically a big bull flag. So if somehow we can hold here, heyday comes our way. But for now, Sunday night through Monday, the OMNI says sell the rallies. When the market goes up, 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 get short and expect it to come down and take your profits. So that's what we'd expect if we traded NASDAQ on Sunday night through Monday. E-mini S&P. Now, E-mini S&P, once again, tests big test of the 200-bar moving average, which is right here. But it also has this major support line, which is being tested at the same time the bottom of the channel and or flag is being tested. So once again, this is just a big testing area, but OMNI's telling us to sell the rally. So while the test is taking place, we'll follow what the OMNI says. We're still below that double top, kids. The day it was formed, we've never gotten above it again. We've just worked down since. So very interesting. We'll see where that wants to go, but we're selling rallies, no doubt, Sunday through Monday. Now, a lot of this action in the stocks is being caused by bonds. What do I mean by that? When bonds go up, interest rates go down. But when bonds go down, interest rates go up. Sort of like this little teeter-totter right here. If you had interest rates on one side of a seesaw and bonds on the other, while bonds go down, inherently it makes the price of interest rates, well, the yield of interest rates go up. So bonds were going up for some time in this channel, and the stock market was going up. Then the transition moment takes place where bonds break the 50-ball moving average and go into this channel moving down. And as this starts to drop, it makes rates go up. And of course, that puts weight on stocks. So that's why the last week or so, we're starting to head down in the stock market because bonds are going down, pushing interest rates higher. Now, there's gold. Check this out. Gold started off with this big, ugly bear flag, dropped through the 50-ball moving average, sort of like bonds, and went into a channel, very much like bonds. Now, the OMNI wants us to be selling rallies in gold, but look, it's getting close to the 200-ball moving average, right? Will it hold there? Well, oddly enough, which sometimes does happen, most times gold is a leader of metals, but sometimes silver's the leader of gold. Silver has been leading gold lately, and silver is way through the 200-ball moving average already. I think gold follows in suit and heads down lower, so we'd be selling rallies in precious metals, and all of that is being brought to you by one thing, the US dollar. As the dollar goes up, it's going to put weight on metals, it's going to put weight on stocks, and the dollar moving higher right now, as you can see, is moving higher, but here's where it gets interesting. We've been in this downwards channel for a long, long time. Well, look at the breakout right here of that channel. Right there. The moment of truth takes place, and look at where the dollar sits now. Interesting, right? So the dollar moving up is what's making the metals move down. The dollar looks like it wants to move up again another day. Maybe the metals move down as well. Traders, I hope that helps. Remember, stops are in, emotions are out. Come join me at livewithoscar.com. And remember, kids, keep those emotions out of your decisions. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck out there.